Ahoy, travelers, and welcome back to the Temple of Kung Fu. As always, I'm your host, the Shaolin Kid, and tonight's tale is... Demon of the Lute. Released in 1983, directed by Run Run Shaw, produced by the Shaw Brothers, dedicated to children. This film is a wild wushu kung fu film. And, it's just, how do I say this? Absolutely fucking insane. Because, okay, by the way, I guess I'll give spoilers if you really care about spoilers for this movie, but really, are you watching this movie for the story? But, yeah, warning just off the bat. But, back to the review. Basically, so the story of this movie is, there's this group of people, you know, like a ragtag group of, like, martial artists, and they want to stop the titular demon of the Lute from getting the Lute, and, well, not getting the Lute. They want to stop him from using the Lute to take over the martial arts world. And that's basically it. Although, so, throughout the story, like in the story, the middle of it, they want to find the fiery bow and the fiery arrow. Pretty simple story, but it doesn't need a super complex, advanced story with all these plot twists and all that, you know? It doesn't need it, because it's just fucking fun. You know what I mean? It's just insane and really fun. Because it's probably the wildest kung fu movie I've seen in a long time, and it's just bonkers. What can I say? It's bonkers. And one of the bonkers things that happens is, like, the intro. Even the intro sets it perfectly. There's, like, this weird song playing in the background, and there's, like, these, like, artist illustrations of the characters, and then the first thing you see that is not animated is a baby. It's a baby, and then just below the baby it says, "This film is dedicated to children." And that sets the tone for how weird this film is going to be, and it is. Like, it's just... And also, by the way, they kind of, like, sideline the story, because there's just, like, action scene after action scene. Very action-packed. It's just action scene, action scene, action scene, action scene. And that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing, because the film is just super, as I said, fun. It's not a movie you're supposed to really, like, pay that much attention, like, not pay that much attention to, but it's not a film you're supposed to, like, get engrossed in the story. It's just sit down and have fun. And it is. And then, but, like, there's, like, just a bunch of these crazy effects. Like, there's a point where where one of the members of the group is fighting this guy, and he has, like, a huge, like, long lance, and, like, eventually, like, in the middle of the fight, he, like, powers up, and he's like, and, like, his hair just, like, grows. He's bald, by the way. He was bald before, and then just a bunch of red hair comes out, and he's got, like, his mustache grows a little bit. It's crazy. Yeah, in the middle of the same fight, the same guy, he gets, like, an axe, not just a normal axe, by the way, a giant axe, and by giant axe, I mean, like, the fucking axe part is, like, this fucking big, it's gigantic, and he's, like, swinging it around like it's a twig, like, it weighs nothing, right? And he's just swinging it around, it looks like he's in a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon, it's great. And this film kind of is a live-action Looney Tunes cartoon, to be completely honest, but, there's also just so many weird characters in this movie. There's, like, a weird, like, deformed man, and, like, a guy with a really long beard they uses as a whip, or, like, as, like a lasso. He can, like, lasso people with his long-ass beard. And it honestly feels like they wanted this film to be an animated film, but then, like, at the last minute, they were like, fuck it, let's make it a live-action film. Because, like, it had so many weird ideas that felt like they'd be an animated movie, but it was live-action. And it was just strange. And then there was a guy that one of the characters spoke to earlier to get information because they got the fiery bow and his name was on, like, an animal skin on the bow. And they went to this guy and he like told him a story of like the guy's past when he was like a baby and like his family, what happened to them. Like the demon of the lute killed them, but he was saved by one of the brothers of his father. And but then it's revealed later on that the guy who told the story was actually this whole time the evil demon of the lute this whole time. And it's like, it's, I didn't see it coming, but I don't, did they like hint at it? I don't know if they hinted at it, to be completely honest. It kind of just came out of nowhere, but I'm fine with it. And he had a big, like, he had a funny bone for sure. Like, he was laughing all the time. Like, every time he started a sentence, in the middle of a sentence, at the end of a sentence, he'd go, ha 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 ha. He'd just laugh the whole time. And it's like, it was funny at first, but then he just kept doing it, and doing it, and doing it, and doing it, to the point where him laughing didn't even sound like laughing anymore. It just sounded like a noise. Like, it was just so consistent. And he just, I don't know, it was weird. I don't know why he had to laugh so much. I mean, I get that he's a villain, but I mean, you've established that he's the villain already. I don't know if he needed to do an evil villain laugh after, in the beginning, middle, and end of every single one of his sentences. I don't know if that's necessary, but I guess I didn't make the movie, so maybe I just don't see the vision, right? I don't see the laughing vision. But, yeah. Really wild, really crazy. And there's also a lot of flying, right? There's like a spinning sword and everything's flying and all over the place. Like, most fights, there's gonna be somebody flying around. In most of the fights, there's at least one person is flying around. If not both of the people fighting are flying. And that's great, because I love, and also, like, another thing that's, like, I like the flying stuff, but, like, in a lot of the scenes where they're flying, you can see the string. Like, you can see it. I remember there's actually a scene where this, you can even see, I don't know if somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but there's a scene where, like, one of the characters jumps up on a branch, like, they fly up onto a branch, and you can see, like, the run of the roof. Like, you can't, like, it's not like you can see, like, the like, ceiling, but you can see, like, the roof of the set, right? Like, where the sky, like, kind of curves a little bit. Like, it's subtle, but you can kind of see it. And then, when he flies up, not only can you see a little bit of the ceiling of the set, you can see his string. Like, you can definitely see it. And then, there's another scene with the same character, and he's got the bow, right? And he fires the arrow, and as the arrow goes across the screen, you can see the string as it's going across the screen. It's ridiculous. And get used to seeing that string, because as I said, you'll see it, like, a lot when they're flying. You'll see it a lot. They didn't really hide it very well. But, yeah. Super fucking wild, super weird, and the story it's very fast-paced. To the point where, like, there's a scene where they're talking about something, and then in the next scene, they'll, like, just, like, if they're talking about wanting to get something, in the next scene, they'll get it. They're just like, we gotta get to the next action scene, guys. How can we resolve this little subplot? Resolve it immediately. Get more fights. More of it. We need more fight scenes. And that's basically what they do. And there's, like, a bunch of fight scenes in this movie. And they're all great. I enjoyed them. And honestly, I think the fight scenes are the reason to watch this movie. Are the crazy things that happen. Are the fight scenes. And honestly, the film is just a really fun time, as I've said. Would I recommend this film? I think I would. If you're a fan of martial arts films, if you're a fan of, like, action films, if you're fine with crazy bonkers stuff. But if you're, like, looking for, like, I mean, objectively saying, I love this film, but objectively saying, it's not very good, right? Objectively speaking, okay? But I think if you can look past that, you can have a lot of fun with it, right? I'm not saying it's, like, I mean, it is a little ironic, but it's also just fun. And I don't know if the movie was meant to be, like, a super great, amazing film. It was just supposed to be fun, which it did. And I would recommend it if you want to have a good time with friends, if you just want to watch a crazy, wild kung fu film, if you just want to watch a fun kung fu film, or, you know, you just like action films. I mean, there's certainly some good action scenes in there, so you probably get some enjoyment out of that. And also, since this film was dedicated to children, maybe, just maybe, this could be a good introduction to the world of kung fu films to children, because, you know, it was silly and like really weird and silly, and maybe that could appeal to children. So I don't do this all the time, but I'm gonna give this film 2 ratings. I'm gonna give it like objective, real movie rating, and 2 like the scale of enjoyable, like enjoyable rating, right? So objective, I don't think this film is god awful, like objectively, but I do think the film is, objectively speaking, not the best. You know, you can see the string, the acting's not great, you know, all the like objective film things are not done very well in this movie, but it's still enjoyable. But real movie rating is probably around, I want to say, like a 4. Maybe like a 4. I think that's fair. So I think real movie rating is probably like a 4, and ironic enjoyment is like an 8. Shit's really fun and really enjoyable. Definitely recommend it if you just want to have a good time. If you want to watch a good movie, like an actual like good movie, maybe look elsewhere. But if you can't, it's just because you can't have fun, dude. You gotta learn how to have fun sometimes. But yeah, I think it's all I need to say. I think it's in peace. So guys, hope you liked this video. Share with friends, subscribe, notifications on, comment down below if you liked it. And as always, I've been the Shaolin Kid. Buddha be praised. Freeze frame ending. Hey guys, much like the movie, this review is dedicated to children.